Hi, John. Your favorite market is hopping, gold, and all the precious metals. Everybody's talking about them, which is either good. I mean, it's definitely good in the long run, but in the short run, it might be bad just because the surprise would be a sell-off. But man, everybody's talking about it. All you need is one hedge fund or one wealthy guy to say, I want to own platinum or I want to own, silver. And it's a whole new market. All right, 1 o'clock. Let's see where we are in our cavalcade of classy stock companies. Energy Vault is up 43 cents to 347. So that one is getting ripe for picking, or it's for real. Finger is down 3 cents at 160. Nvidia is having an active day, down 4.5 at 179. GDC is down 7.5, but I don't think it's a lot of volume. It's not a lot of volume. 97,000 shares. It's under $6 at 592. And then the star of the show is the slowpoke from a legal standpoint, attorney standpoint. But who knows how fast they're running behind the scenes? We just don't know. 44.1 by 46. Well, now they're trying to show you all sorts of stock for sale. 47, 45.72, 45.68, 45. They're showing you a lot of volume for sale. It's all a fraud. It's all illegal. But hey, in a world that's controlled by the banksters, nobody is going to tell the short sellers to stop. Nobody. Particularly when you see them on Saturday every week. So the volume 75,000. I only see one trade at 1040 for 150 shares. So all right, let's see what's going on in the world. I wonder how much longer the UN is going to be held in New York. Gold hitting record highs. Ukraine launches drone attacks on Moscow. Swell. The U.S. is once again the world's most expensive stock market. Well, where are you going to go? We're only, I don't know, at most 5% of the world's population. But even with all our dishonesty, even with all our letting it happen again. Never again, but we're participating. We're not only letting it happen, we're participating. Still, it's hard to know where you would put money in the world other than the United States for now. Nobody's hedged. From the market ear, nobody's hedged for real gold panic. Imagine real gold panic sets in, which would apply to platinum, palladium, silver, probably other things too that I can't think of. Gold volatility moved higher yesterday, but note gold volatility tends to go into overdrive when real gold panic kicks in. Call spreads remain attractive, expressing further upside in gold. Gold is overbought. See, that's what I worry about in the short run. Everybody's talking gold, silver, everything. When everyone's going one way, it's good to zig. The early 2025 gold triangle breakout saw the metal gain almost 10% before we got the first consolidation. It was during the second phase of the breakout, gold really went for it, gaining 25% in total post-triangle breakout. The current setup has similarities. We wrote about the switch between digital and physical gold some time ago. Gold and Bitcoin tend to move in tandem over time, but we often see big switches between the two. The last switch lasted 4 months. And that's the article. Well, it looks boring in the news world, so I guess I'll have to start blabbing about Railtown. Multiple European airports disrupted by drones. All flights halted for hours. Yeah, I guess the things we've taken for granted just have to come to an end. It's just how it has to be. President Trump's teleprompter breaks at the UN, so he goes off script. The 9/11 files, the CIA recruited the hijackers. Trump just got a win from the Supreme Court. It's not a big deal to me. All right. All right, so let's get going on Railtown again. On February 11th, 2025, Railtown Technologies announced a memorandum of understanding to acquire AI Partnerships Corp. Well, that is March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 7 months ago. And what could be going on here? What could be going on? Well, to state the obvious, I might have some scheme going on where I'm lying to you and I'm pumping up the volume so that I can liquidate, I don't know, 1 million shares that I was given, or some fantasy like that. I know it's tough to know for sure, but I have an advantage over you. I know that I'm not doing that. I know that I haven't been paid by the company. I know that I bought my shares at around 35 cents. I haven't sold any. I know the trouble I go through almost every day coming on, the sleepless nights, and I don't benefit. But I know that you don't. But anyway, so since it's a question I asked, I'm going to try to answer it. I know that I'm not part of some deceptive scheme. So we'll take that off the list. Or I'll take that off the list. You can think what you want. Could it be that the attorneys are simply in the wrong business? They're totally incompetent, and they handle, condo settlements. We've gone over that before. I think the background of Corey Brandolini and Marwan Haddad and other members of his team, the backgrounds of the gentlemen and women at AI Partners, and just the depth of investors, I don't think they just picked any law firm out of the yellow pages. So I'm going to cross that off. I think the law firm or firms are very skilled and know what they're doing. So what else could it be? Could the law firms be working with the criminals to short the stock, to destroy the transaction, and allow the criminals to destroy the market cap so they can cellar box Railtown like they did to MULN, Torchlight, MMAT, MMTLP, others. Some are shitty companies, but some good companies. I again, am unaware of any toxic financing that Railtown did in the past. I'm unaware of any player that's trying to steal the entire market cap of Railtown. And therefore, I think it's unlikely that there's a cabal of shorts meeting on the side with a phone saying, hey, we're going to move our business from your law firm if you don't slow us down. I personally think that's highly unlikely, but it's a possibility, I suppose. So what could the law firm be taking so long about? I would imagine that if a group of guys, hail fellows well met, meet at the AI in British Columbia in November, something like that, and then AIP invites Railtown to join the AIP network, and then kind of an aha moment, we had a lot of success at Omer's. We invested pension money in technology stocks on behalf of Canadian retiree accounts. And we did it at size. We were the initial investment backers of Lawrence, or that's his last name, maybe it is Lawrence, the CEO of Constellation Software. We put up the $25 million for a company now worth $100 billion, $5,000 Canadian a share. But we've had this idea that we're going to create a loosely tied together network of what's now 180 companies in the AI space, all expected to benefit from Canada's emphasis on AI, from the quasi-governmental organizations with the intellect and the money to help Canadian AI, from the energy in Canada, from the gigantic data centers being built, and by the enormous leaps in computing power because of NVIDIA's Blackwell chip and other technologies. So our idea is that we're going to roll these 180 companies up best first, not first in, first rolled up, best in, first rolled up. And we need, so far we're 3 guys, 4 guys and a telephone and a computer and an idea. And we send out a newsletter every month, and our 180 companies have all agreed to cross-sell, and they send, whatever they send. They send $500 a month to be a member of our association. But frankly, we need a company. We don't really have a company, and we'd like to join Railtown and have you buy us because you have depth of experience and we love your conductor product. So they have that conversation. And everyone thinks, Railtown thinks, we're getting our customers by going to conferences. We're getting our customers by joining NVIDIA, Microsoft, AMD as partners, and we either white label Conductor and our other tools, or we go out under our own name to entities that need to upgrade their legacy software to AI enhanced or AI equipped or simply AI software. But we're in a race, and we want to go claim as much of the beachhead as we want. This is exciting. We could go in and cross-sell to 180 companies with 5,000 customers. That's a huge jump forward, a huge leap forward for man, a small step for mankind. Well, anyway, they say, sure, we'd love to do that. That'd be great. Well, then you've got, it seems to me, if you're the attorneys advising the deal, and you've got Canaccord in there trying to earn their fees, and then you've got a bunch of cool cats running both companies. These aren't beta dogs or simp dogs. These are alpha dogs. These are maybe not lone wolves, but they're used to being the lion that overlooks the entire pride. They're used to being the stallion that has the entire herd follow along. So you've got to get all these men and women together on what's the value of Railtown, which is a moving target. We can agree, I think. What's the value of the AI Partnerships Association of 180 companies that have not been rolled up yet? What's going to be the nature of the teams? So anyway, I think, I don't know. I would guess that even the most unsophisticated, overpaid wankers at Canaccord are going to be able to come up with a valuation model, I don't know, within 45 days? Maybe. Maybe it takes 60 days. So say from February 11th, the two companies take 60 days to come to some sort of agreement about what each other is worth, and therefore what ratio an acquisition, a newco, what ratio of the newco each of the many parties will hold. The good news, that can go along simultaneously with writing up the LOI, which was promised in a few weeks. And what items would be in there beyond valuation and beyond deal terms? Well, who's going to be on the team? Who speaks for the company? Who has what votes? All of that would have to be duked out. And my guess is that could be done in 60 days too. Maybe a little longer, but let's just say 60 days. What else would have to go on? Well, I think the bugaboo, the bear of it is the AI space has hotted up. It's going to be like when silver breaks 52. All of a sudden, there's going to be a frenzy. Or it's going to be like, I think, when Railtown finally, you get to see the buying, people are going to be scrambling. We can come up with examples of imbalances in markets that cause a frenzy. But that seems to be happening in AI. We saw it with Windrift. We've seen it with OpenAI. We've seen it with a whole bunch of headlines. So what happens in our nice moot court world where everything goes by the textbook and it takes 60 days to negotiate, come to an agreement, and write up the documents? What happens if the multiples move from 12 and 25x to 100, 150, and 200x on forward revenues? And there's deal flow to show it. What happens if Wall Street starts raising hundreds of billions of dollars and is deploying it at 200x of revenue? What happens when the big companies like a Microsoft, a NVIDIA, an AMD, a Tesla, an Apple start having an arms race to claim revenue creation via AI tools? What happens? Well, maybe, just maybe, a couple of things happens. The negotiation for who gets what in the merger gets out of whack. You know, it's Lennon and McCartney. I just read the book on them. Lennon and McCartney, until McCartney writes Yesterday all by his own son. And then all of a sudden, it shifts to McCartney and the whole thing starts breaking up because there's not that balance. Well, I'm not saying it's breaking up. Don't get me wrong. But maybe what made sense last November and in February, well, you've got 160 companies and we'd like to cross-sell. Maybe that's all great. But what if whatever revenue, conductor, etc., are creating, what if those multiples, what if their thought originally was the multiples 12x? And now they're thinking in terms of 100x. And they're thinking of, well, anyway, I don't know. But it's human nature to renegotiate deals. So it's possible, I have no word on this, but it's possible those guys are still hammering out. Does Railtown get, is it 50-50? Is it Lennon-McCartney? Or does it more McCartney, Ram, Wings, Yoko Ono? You know, is it more diffused than that? I don't know. But it's a possibility that one reason it's now taken 7 months instead of 2 or 3 months is that valuation and deal discussion could be a little bit in flux. I don't think it would mean it would end, but it could be. What else could be going on? Well, I left out, they could just break the deal. They just say, we're not going to do the deal. But I don't think that makes any sense. When you see the joint messages from Dr. Kaur and from Corey on LinkedIn, the simultaneous messages, and they're both at that conference today. I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it makes a lot of logical sense. So what else could be going on? What else could be going on? What if Corey Brandolini is Paul McCartney and suddenly Conductor is a solo effort of Railtown? And what if Conductor is gaining purchase to the point that their order book is accelerating to the upside without AIP? Well, I don't know how to think that through other than to point out that if business is booming, and I know that's an assumption, it might delay the attorney's ability to drop the final product. It could be. It could be. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what analogy to give you. But at some point, somebody has to make a decision. Let's just finish this. But it may also be that things are going so well behind the scenes. Let's book, so to speak, as much of the deal flow as we can so that the company Railtown looks big when it goes to roll up these other companies, for example. I don't know. All I'm trying to express to you is there could be a lot of reasons that the attorneys can't quite get this finished that have more to do with valuations and deals and a moving target than just not getting it done on time. And then I guess the last thing I'll point out that I read on the Google, when I Googled Canadian, what's the name of their SEC? I forget it. But anyway, Sephra or something. They Sarah or something. There can be an exception for announcing the finalization of a deal if it would have a negative consequence to the overall value that shareholders get over the long term. And I don't have any information, so it's very hard to create a hypothetical. But I could imagine if, I don't know, let's say, I can't think of a group. I don't know. What if AT&T walked in from the United States and said, we'd like to use, or a better one, what if that company out of London, Collins International, that just had all of its baggage and reservation systems violated, what if they called up and said, we want to hire you worldwide for all of our systems around the world? And it's just so gigantic that they would rather get that deal locked down before they announce the merger, because if they lock that deal down, the merger is going to be more in their favor than it is going to be in AIP's favor. I don't know. It's very hard to create hypotheticals out of thin air. But my point is that AI, particularly AI 2.0, is a fast-moving, growing business. It's a bit of a mania. It's a gold rush. And maybe things are just moving so quickly, the ink never dries on anything the attorneys get out of their printer. And they're constantly having to go back to update their work product. I don't know. And then there's all sorts of signatures. So anyway, I'm not trying to say that to get you thinking that it's going to be another 7 months. I just think there are reasons that could be good for the delays. And I know it would help everyone to see something. But I would argue if we can just focus on $55 by May 5th, look, who knows what happens? I'll try to come up with a timeline that could happen. But NVIDIA just hit, let me see what it is. NVIDIA just hit 4.3 trillion, I think. Let me look. It's down, so it's probably lower. 4.3 trillion. So if NVIDIA decided to issue 1% of its capital stock to buy Railtown, I know, I'm just making it up, and it's a big assumption. I get it. But maybe we shouldn't always be negative. So that would be $42,900,000,000 of NVIDIA stock to buy Railtown / AI Partners. And I don't How many shares should we use? There's, according to Yahoo, 140 million. I saw 175 million. And let's say they issue 10 million to acquire AI partners. That's a lot, I think. And it's hard to come up with a number. Let's just divide it by let's divide it by 300 million shares. That should more than be conservative, shouldn't it? So 42.9 divided by 300 million shares, which is, I think that's way too many. That's a target of $143 a share. So NVIDIA could just spend 1% of its stock right now and pay us $143 a share. I'm not saying right now, a year from now, 2 years from now. But if we can focus on that kind of upside rather than the daily, oh gosh, it's under 50 cents. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. The shorts don't know anything. The shorts have one trick. Sell. That's all they have. And it works. It works. That's why they do it. Railtown is now 44 cents. 44.01 to 45.4. Now the bid is 43.57. So they must have taken out the bid. Nope. 345 shares. I don't know what to tell you. I think we just have to take the pressure off ourselves of watching every single day, every single hour, every single morning. There's no buying because from February 11th until today, anybody that has material inside information or can be assumed to have it are not allowed to buy the stock. There's no marketing of the stock. I don't know what to call this dead time. It's not a quiet period. It's something else. But the company can't talk. Promotional people, in-house or out-of-house, like research analysts, they can't talk. Company can't talk to research analysts. So there's no buying demand. It's a perfect setup for the criminals to short the stock. But you know what's weird? They're not having any luck breaking the back of this stock. They have pulled it down from almost 70 cents. But I think it gives you a chance to buy the stock. There's another stock out there, SoundHound, which has, I think, a comparable revenue profile. But they don't make any money. Yet, their market cap is $5.8 billion. Imagine if Railtown comes out of the gate doing similar revenue. I'm not saying the first week. I don't even know what to expect. Let's say by the first quarter next year, they're doing a similar revenue as SoundHound, but they're making money. SoundHound doesn't make any money, at least not yet. It's up today, 1768. It's $5.8 billion. What if Railtown's worth $5.8 billion by the first quarter? Divided by 250,000 million, shares. That's $23 a share. If we can focus on these things rather than the daily destruction by shorting in our corrupt markets, I think we can not have a heart attack. GDC's in the green. It's up 2 cents at $6.02. Fingers down 3 at 160. Nvidia's down 6 at 177. SoundHound's up 25 cents at 17.54. And Railtown is up almost a penny at 44.75. And we just got to get through another 2 hours and 20 minutes and do it all again tomorrow. I don't know why my eyes are bothering me, but they are. All right. Enough comedy jokes. Grandpa bought a rubber. All right, John Croissant. Good morning, John. You were first today, which is pretty impressive. And John says, are we going to talk gold, silver, and platinum? We can. Let me go through these and I'll try to talk. It's going to be an interesting thing. If Railtown does what I think it's going to do, and if the market stays strong in AI, things are likely to happen more quickly than more slowly, but who knows? Maybe it's 18 months, maybe it's 24 months, 36 months, I don't know. But one thing that we'll have to talk about, it just seems preposterous right now. And I tried to look it up for E-Trade, Morgan Stanley. But I can do it sort of from my memory. My old office is Morgan Stanley, and I can kind of remember the numbers then. Any stock under $2 was not marginable. And that was hard. I mean, you went immediately to 100% maintenance. So if the stock had been trading at 350 and it closed at 199, you had to settle up. And depending on the account and depending on your other positions, market movement didn't help you. There's two things in margin. There's the house call and there's the we used to call it Fed call, but it's not really Fed. It's I can't think of the term. Anyway, it's mandated call. It's a mandated call. So A house call, for example, if you have your account on margin and the house calls 40%, so you have to have 40% equity in your account, which is a combination of the market value of the stock minus how much money you borrowed to buy stock. If the equity is above 40%, you're okay. But if it goes down, let's say to 35% or 30%, 33%, you need to bring in money. That's a house call to get it back up to 40%, or maybe not right away, but they'll sell you out to make that happen. And you lose a lot of your leverage of the stock. But a house call can be corrected. It can be fixed by price movement. So if one day I call my client, I say, you need to bring in 20 grand, otherwise they're going to sell you out on Friday. If the next morning or overnight, whenever, the stock price went up, and during the next time they looked at the account at 2 o'clock, let's say, the account was at 43% equity, you're fine. The clock starts again. You don't need to bring in money. But if you get a maintenance call, I swear we call it Fed maintenance, but it doesn't sound right. But anyway, if you violate the exchange requirement at 25%, and it goes down to 20%, and then the stock comes back, you still have to bring that in. You cannot, market action can't fix that for you. And that can be difficult. So margin is a scary thing if you overdo it. On the other hand, I really think if Railtown does well, and let's say it's $5 or $10, $10 would be better. I think it might be a time to borrow against it to buy some gold, silver, or platinum. But I wouldn't borrow very much. And that's what we're gonna have to figure out when we get there. My instinct is not to go any higher than 5%, and maybe not even that high, because it could be volatile, and I don't want any of you to lose any stock. I don't want you to lose any Railtown stock. I just don't want you to lose it. It's hard to believe right now, trading at 43 cents, that's going to be $5 once the attorneys finish. It's hard to believe. And once it's $5, institutions will buy, and it could be $15. It's hard to believe. We've been trained to think that the stock price tells us everything, but it doesn't. It doesn't. But anyway, we'll talk about gold, silver, and platinum. I've been trying just to focus on Railtown so that I'm laser clear where I think people should be. But I love gold, silver, and platinum. And little baby ducks. Hey, Quentin, now, how are you? From Germany? Wow. I've been to Germany. Quentin, now, where's Ham disappeared to? Ham hasn't disappeared. Ham is very active and works as hard as he always did. Ham decided he no longer wanted to come on here, and he started doing his conference calls with Kristen Shaughnessy, who's terrific, and with another guy. And so I wouldn't consider that disappearing. He just I guess he found it better, easier, whatever. But if you want to follow him, I would recommend you join Twitter and go to Finger or G-Bucks or GDC, Energy Vault, these kind of names out there, and you'll see him, follow him, and I think you can listen to him at least once, if not 2 or 3 times a day, and he's there. He hasn't disappeared. Hey, Fast Eddie, how are you? Hey, Marty Party. Hey, Jack Hamilton, how are you? Northeast Iowa. I have participated in many buyers fairs where new products are offered to the retail space. When leaving, everyone is excited to try it. I'm sure the all-in conference will be very similar. Yeah. Which actually brings up a point, Northeast Iowa, that I meant to bring up earlier. What if Conductor, with its other iterations, what if Conductor is battle tested? What if Conductor is best in class? What if Conductor is first to market? What if Conductor is proprietary? What if Conductor solves a gigantic problem for computer software development? These are things, I'm saying in my own words, but these are things that Corey Brandolini said in 2 presentations, which I've played for you, year old each of them are a year old. What if it's all true? That this is best in class, proprietary, battle tested, scalable. What if it's the bee's knees? What if it is the go-to must-have technology that companies scrambling to keep up with the Joneses and still add on? What if it is that great? We're so used to looking at the negatives. What if it's just a great product that took 6 years to develop and market a bit and get to this stage? And what if it's taking off like a hit song or a gusher or, a movie star? What if Conductor is a must-have AI tool? Well, that opens up a whole lot for us to get excited about once the attorneys finish their work. And if we accept the fact the attorneys are not going to finish anytime soon, we're okay. As long as the stock is trading here, we can add to our positions. If you agree with my clever projection, 5-5, 55 by 5-5, we can just plan on that. Although, nothing's guaranteed, of course. But we can think forward to that rather than, oh gosh, another day, they've got it down. Why haven't the lawyers done anything? Because this isn't hot money. This is a stock you're going to want to keep, and you may not ever sell. It may be that Microsoft buys out the whole kit caboodle. That's what I originally was thinking about the company before it got all complicated. 43.5 to 44, 38,000 shares. Last trade 44. 10, oh, wow. Sorry. We had 5,000 trade at 43.98. Then we had 10,000 shares trade at 44 and another 10,000 shares trade at 44. It's pretty good. Maybe there'll be a 2 o'clock margin call. Hey, Matthew Maw, how are you? Northeast Iowa. You get out of the AI conference and want to buy more Railtown. They are enjoyable. The conferences, yeah. As long as you have a good pair of shoes on. Yeah, it would be fun. I agree. It'd be nice to be there. DMAC calling in from the Great Pacific Northwest. Please update my position in Railtown to 18,000. DMAC Balula. Be my baby. Be-bop-balula. And I don't mean maybe. That's awesome. 18,000 shares at $10. That'll be nice. Don't trade it though when you get there. Well, we'll know better as information comes out. Brandon Neely, I think they are waiting to announce it because they're going to announce a bunch of contracts with business on their projects. Could be. See, I don't know the competitive landscape, but it could be that you want to lock down as much of your business before you announce it, so you don't give a clue to a competitor to come, jump in front of you. We'll find out. We'll find out what it's all about. But you could be right. Brandon Neely, I think the deal is finished, but they're tying up loose ends on several new contracts that are going to be used in conductor or rail trucks. Makes sense to me. I don't know. But I would be surprised that the deal isn't finished. But we have no evidence of it, so we don't know it for sure. And we just have to wait. I think it's great that they're at the conference with AI partners. I think it's great they're showing their Railtracks product. And I think a lot of this is out of our control. We don't like it being out of our control. I think we're very fortunate to own whatever positions we own. And I know it's hard to believe, but once this stock starts going up, you're not, both because you don't have enough money, but also because the stock won't be available. You're not going to be able to build these kind of positions. DMAC has 18,000 shares. In December, he might not be able to put a block of 18,000 shares together at $13. It just might not be there. We'll find out. I mean, don't know for sure, but stocks in demand, you could see 2,000 or 3,000 shares trade all day long. So there's a lot of advantages to this delay for all of us. We can buy the stock inexpensively, in my opinion, and we can practically buy as much stock as we want. We'll see what happens. Account settings, how are you? AI partnerships, just focus on X. Nothing special. Well, I can try to see what it said. I can try to see. Dr. Tom Cole. Cold call in love. I don't see a new post from him. It's the same TELUS post. TELUS is investing $70 billion. So I don't. Maybe there's an AIP. I don't know how to find it on LinkedIn. AIP partners. Linked in. American Industrial Partners, Advanced Innovative Partners, Alternative Investment Partners, AIP Venture Partners, AIP Capital, AIP Management. I can't find this. I can't find it, account settings. I believe you that it's there. All right. All right, you guys. No trading, 44 cents. 2 o'clock. Nvidia's down 5.45. SoundHound's up 63 cents. Railtown is barely in the green. GDC is almost flat. And Finger is down 4 cents at 159. Why the United States may return to Afghanistan. What I heard is Saudi Arabia has told us we're not welcome militarily in the kingdom anymore, and that's because Israel attacked Qatar. But hey, Israelis get free healthcare, free education, and we subsidize them. AIP Partnerships is the handle. All right, I'll see if I can find it. There's two of those. We're thrilled to share that Railtown AI technologies will be, yeah, we already read that one. They're promoting a bunch of their smaller companies, which is great. AI agents are no longer the future, they are the present. Introducing Railtracks, the open source agentic framework. Yeah, that feels better. I don't see any news. I'm sorry. I'm just not much here. I'm going to read this one. Why the United States may return to Afghanistan, according to Martin Armstrong. The United States wants to reclaim the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan. The base is strategically located near China's Xinjiang region and also borders Iran. We gave it to the Taliban for nothing, US President Donald Trump said during a joint press conference with Keir Starmer. We're trying to get it back, by the way. I sincerely hope the neocons encircling the Capitol do not push the POTUS to redeploy troops in Afghanistan. When I met Donald Trump in March 2020, he repeatedly stated that he wanted to end America's involvement in the Middle East. It is an endless war that began long ago. Trump said he was tired of writing letters to mothers to report that their sons and daughters were not returning home from a war that was never America's to fight. Strategically located, the airbase is only 500 miles from China. Rare earth minerals that the United States so desperately needs can be found nearby as well. The proximity to China is not the primary motive for reclaiming the base. Only 30 miles away lies an essential trade network in Kabul, controlled by Russia. Russia removed Afghanistan from the blacklist status last November and has been strengthening ties to strategic infrastructure. Russia and Afghanistan have been planning a 573 kilometer, $6.9 billion railway with Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, and Belarus. We should spend 6.9 billion bombing countries on behalf of Israel. Don't worry about our rails. The Trans-Afghan Corridor Railway Service will connect Afghanistan to ports in Uzbekistan and Pakistan. This will simplify transit, as cargo will be able to reach Pakistan from Uzbekistan in 3 to 5 days instead of a month. The route is crucial for Central Asian logistics. Annual freight volume is expected to reach 22 million The Taliban would never willingly return the base to the United States, of course, and economic offers would be of little importance considering the amount Afghanistan is set to gain from this railway project. Trump said bad things will happen if and when the Taliban refuses to return the base. Again, the media is not reporting the real reason that the United States suddenly wants to reclaim Bagram. Russia. I think it's because we can't use Saudi Arabia anymore. All right, only an hour and 45 minutes to go. Wow. YouTube is going to allow the reinstatement of accounts that they banned for you know what. Footage shows massive drone that disrupted operations in Copenhagen and Oslo airports. Man, can you imagine if you can't fly safely and you have to take the train everywhere and we don't have any trains? I may not be able to make it to 4 o'clock today. I just don't have much to say. All right, I'm bored. I may sign off and come back on. Let's see what the prices are. Railtown is 44 cents. Everything else is in the red except Soundhound. Let's see what the volume is on Railtown. Hasn't changed. 43.5 by 44, 2,500 by 8,000. All right, I think I'm going to sign off. I'll try to come back on maybe later today, but I really ran out of things to talk about. I do think now's the time to be buying Railtown. I know the price makes you hesitate. The fact that they haven't announced the deal is completed makes you hesitate, but there's evidence out there that the deal is going to complete. Railtown and AI partners are working together at the conference. The news can't be bad. I guess it could be, but we'd already know it if the deal had broken up, I think. So if you're waiting for the news to come out, I think you're going to be buying Railtown with everybody else as it goes up rapidly to $5. So it's a great opportunity to buy. The volume's 123,000. They just did 1,420 at 43.7. And that's about it. So I apologize. I just don't have anything else to say. And rather than waste your time, let's call it there. If something happens in the next hour, I'll come back on again. But until then, we'll talk tomorrow. Peace to everybody.